Okay, so everybody can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so from Java concept, we I think missed two pieces. One is encapsulation and another is interface. So what is encapsulation actually? Let me go to some W3 school and see what is encapsulation, and then go to interface. W3 school, Java. Okay. So it should be there. OOPS concept, inside the OOPS concept, there is encapsulation. So inside the OOPS concept, we already saw method overloading, overriding as part of polymorphism, constructor as part of polymorphism, and also we saw inheritance so far. Today we'll see some of the example of encapsulation. So encapsulation will be one of the maybe interview question. Sometimes they ask the concept actually. So inheritance done, polymorphism done. So encapsulation is another one that you need maybe some idea actually. So basically encapsulation, right? It is keeping your code as like private and use them from another class. And use them means private, you cannot directly use them, you have to use them indirectly. And there is a specific method that you will be using. This is called getter and setter method. So through setter, you will replace the data accordingly. And with getter, you will get those data back to your test class. So remember, we saw at the beginning with other classes, right? Like teacher, person, admin, like this type of class we never used as private. So now as part of encapsulation, we will be using those as private, and our test class will be public, right? Our test class will be calling those private class. And since this is private, it cannot be done directly. It like getter and setter method need to be used to set data and to get data. So if I show you one of the example from here, go to my IntelliJ actually. I already did. So encapsulation, right? So what we did before, if you see this user, right? Let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay. So before, we had this stuff as not private. This is not private, right? So now we are using this phone number or integer as private, like specifically in like banking domain, right? Internal methods, internal variables, they are used as a private method or private. So they will be calling as a private, so that anybody cannot just go inside and get those on the screen. So as part of this, doing this, you will be using like getter and setter methods. So as you saw, by get, you will be getting the information, and by set, you will be actually giving some information that will allow you. So getter and setter, right? Setter will be key. Setter will be key, and basically, and getter will be the opening the lock. So basically, by setting, you are giving specific private variable and calling them differently, like using the this word. You see that this. So you will see when I actually write another test class. Okay, so now this is one of the test class. And in this test class, we are using different type of users, right? And in our user class, right, we are not running this one. We are actually running this one, but we will be using this as like a template or using this method. So calling this method or calling these variables to use inside our test class. So the test class is user, right? So that if we want to use this user in our, what we need, we have to just create the objects like user 1, user 2, user 3. For example, you are calling some banking domain, internal banking domain, and want to see some account number for a specific person. So you have to create this username, password. You see that this name, password, you can use any of these like phone number as part of your input. But since there is a protection required, right? Like for example, you need to be secured. So your username and passwords are very, very secured in your website internal portal, right? And to get those name, you need to use get and set, getter and setter method, so that you can call them and you can replace their name, you can use their name, or basically you can see their information. You see that? So any kind of restricted information you want, you have to use getter and setter method. So this is encapsulation to get the private information or to get the restricted information. So for setter, this is a specific line, public void. So this will not be actually private. So getter and setter method will be public, but they are actually inside the test, inside the class, right? That you are using. Like for example, user you are using, right? And inside the user, some informations are private and secured. So to get those private and secured information or use them, you have to use this public getter and setter method. So for example, name is private. So now if you want to call this name from your test class, all you have to do, inside the setter, you have to write public void set name. Set name is coming from you, right? You can give just name one. This is like a variable or name, like reference variable, something like that. This is your setter name. It is not fixed. It is up to you. You can just use them anything. You can use set username, or you can use set password or anything. But this format is fixed. Public void whatever name you use. Then internally you will be giving these. Like for example, these are string, right? So string new name. So where is new name coming? So basically you are saying this new name, whatever you are giving or you are getting from some customer, this is some customer's name. And you are saying that, okay, here, this name will be representing this name. This name and this name will be exactly same in this class. So you have to saying that inside the curly bracket or inside the body, right? So this is your signature and this is your body inside the curly bracket of your method. So inside the curly bracket, you are saying that, okay, this name is exactly same as new name. This name means this name. You originally have a private name variable, right? So this variable is a same like this. So now and whatever you are doing in getter. So now, since you are saying this name is your new name is same, now inside the class, it is okay. So public can actually call private. Other class cannot. So, but inside this class, it can communicate with private and public. So now this will communicate with this private name and will give you back and return the name. You see that? So this is a getter option. So get name means whatever you are providing here, here actually, it will go inside the code now and use this name variable and return you back on your test class. So now test class actually can communicate with this user class, but only through getter and setter, not directly. If you don't have getter setter, this test class will have error, or you will see red. For example, if I just give a comment out this one, for example, you will see your code will be running red. You see that? Set name. Now you cannot set the name because since this is user has names are private, this is another second class. So private properties cannot communicate with other class directly. Those are secured. Those are like secured class. So you cannot call those secured method or secured variables from another class like this that you are testing for UI verification or doing some kind of functionalities. They can only communicate with these private properties just with getter and setter option. So if you just remove this comment, your red will be gone again. See, red is gone. So what I'm doing here, so basically, whatever we actually practiced before without private, that was all of this like either public or default or something, like not private. So private is coming with encapsulation. Anything related to private is coming, will be discussed under encapsulation. So now, for example, there are 3 users I'm creating. Those are like simple, that new, right? Everybody knows to create any object. So basically I'm declaring object, creating new object. So now I'm giving some object's name here, right? So for example, I'm giving my name, I'm giving Jewelwise name, I'm giving maybe here another person, Pavel's name. So those are like now set name, they're using this set name method. This is that set name method, set name method. Similar way I will be doing for phone number also. You see that? So now I just can see how it prints. Now, if I just run this one for phone number, also I can see phone number. So the biggest difference you saw from the past, exactly same thing, except now those are private. Your source are private, right? So your codes are private, so you cannot those private code. So now avoid this privacy issue or use those secured code. Just use get and set method, getter and setter. They are called sometimes getter and setter. Sometimes interviewer will be asking you, do you know anything about getter and setter? So basically you'll be saying to use private properties from another class to test class, you use specific method called getter and setter, right? Or setter and getter. So basically by setter method, you will be setting the properties and connecting the connecting your object to your class, that where you are getting the information. And by get or getter, you are just getting those information to your test class. Anybody has so far confusion about getter and setter? So this is actually encapsulation. You can see more examples in W3 school also. So handling basically private properties, private method or private variables, you will be using getter and setter method. Okay, so now actually just going to IntelliJ again. So this is encapsulation. That piece was missing from our original Java classes. So now another one is, if I go back to abstraction, actually. Abstraction and interface. These two we actually, so far we did not cover yet, right? So remember we saw inheritance for multi-layer inheritance or single inheritance, but we couldn't use multiple inheritance. What does that mean? If you go back to inheritance, for example, this is one of the inheritance example, right? So what you did, you basically extended one single class at a time. In regular inheritance, you extended one single class at a time. You cannot extend two classes. For example, you see this teacher, right? Teacher extends person, but teacher cannot extend person and admin. You see that? If I just write admin, you see that they will be red actually. They will be red. They cannot actually extend two classes at a time. So regular inheritance can handle only one parent at a time. But by using interface, you can use multiple classes inside your test class or inside your child class. And that will be not extends, that will be the name implement. You will see the word when I show you the example. So so everybody understood the difference, right? Where interface coming compared to regular inheritance. This can be interview question actually, how you define between these two. So regular inheritance can only extend one single parent. So for example, you are a child, right? So now you want to extend your parent plus your uncle. You cannot do your uncle. You can only do one at a time, either parent or either uncle. But interface, you can do both. You can call both of them and you can actually extend, means implement both of them. I will actually go to interface now. Let me check. There are a couple of examples I set up. So if you go to this is one of the example probably you can use. Maybe not this one. Go to the simple one first, actually. I will use the simple one first. So this is one of the example of interface. So I'm just opening one child and one parent. So one child, one parent. So what is there actually? So in interface, for example, you don't have a body. Before interface, actually, let me check if I need to cover abstraction or not. No, abstraction is not necessary. Let me go to abstraction first. Okay. Okay, actually, before going to interface, because interface, abstraction, and interface is coming side by side. Okay. Go back to here. Java interface, Java abstraction. Okay. So what is Java abstraction actually? So those are like specific classes and methods that will be used sometimes. So there are two types of abstract classes and methods. You see that sometimes they will be saying interface also. So if you see interface, the difference between interface, right? How they will be achieved. So there are some specific way. Let me go to abstraction first. Open it, open it. So, okay. So everybody can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So there is one of the, this is the package is abstraction. This is nothing, but the class name is cat. You see that this is the cat. Cat extends animals. So this is actually a inheritance concept, right? You see that the animal. So in animal class here, you will see two type of method. One is abstract method and one is regular method. So abstract class will have at least one abstract method. If you don't have any abstract method in this abstract class, that means this is not abstract class, this is a regular class. But this class is an abstract class, for example, because this one has an abstract method and a regular method. So there are two differences, right? You will see this is abstract class, and this is an interview question also, actually, sometimes. What is specific, like what is, like if you compare with regular method and abstract method, what you see the difference here? Abstract class doesn't have a body, you see that? This is the interview answer. So basically, abstract method will only have the parenthesis, but no curly bracket as like a body. You will not see any body. Regular method you always saw in the past, right? In the past, whenever you did anything, right? Anytime you created any method, it doesn't matter it is polymorphism or it doesn't matter this is encapsulation, you always had a body. But now in abstraction, in abstract method, you actually have no body, just the signature as parenthesis. But regular method you see here, you have a body. So this is a method, one is abstract method, one is regular method, and this is a class, animal class, right? And you see that I wrote abstract class, the word abstract class, because there is a abstract method inside the class. So now I am creating another class here, right, cat? So this is actually not a abstract class. This is regular class because it is using just the regular method, right? And it is like having the regular method, as I said here, from here, calling this one. And how this is calling? Public void animal sound, right? So another method just added sound. This was sleep. You see that for you are creating two class. One class is abstract class, another class is regular class. An abstract class has abstract in the beginning and method with no body. Now we have a test class. And if you have a test class, you are basically just calling any of these. And how you are calling? You are just using these two. Created one cat object and then one cat one dot by dot, using dot, you are just using this two other. So here you are using inheritance, but using abstraction method. Now, interface will be little bit different, right? Regular inheritance, you saw just one, like, what is that? They used only one class as a like parent. But in interface now, actually, I'm going to interface now. So this is interface. So how you know this is interface? Can somebody tell how I know this is an interface? Actually, this class is interface. Because you see here, right? The word interface. So when actually you create new, you see that new? If you create new Java class, now you have to declare if this is an interface or not. You see that? You always used interface. Now you can use, you always used as a class before. Now you can use as an interface. So I created two interface here, right? So, and since those are interface, they are also using abstract method. And you already know that abstract method doesn't have any body, right? And if you don't have a body, you don't have to write abstract all the time. If you don't write abstract word, it will automatically assume that this is an abstract method because it doesn't have a body. I was just showing there as part of, just to show you that, okay, you don't have to write abstract word. You can write, if you write, but regular method, you cannot write abstract word because if you have body, it will give you error. For example, if you go back to, here, right? Where is that? Not this one. So if I write here abstract, the word abstract, it will give you error. It will be red, basically. But here it is not giving red because it is by default, system knows this is abstract method because they don't have any body. So now another one. So this one is interface also because I call them as interface, not the regular class. What I am doing here, so you see this is interface and now this is a test class. Animal demo, right? Animal demo. This is a interface, very similar to class, but interface. Only difference is the word, right? If you open a class, it will say class. If you say interface, it will say interface. Instead of class, it will be say interface. So now here you see the implementation of multiple parents. So now you have two interfaces here. You see that one is actually this. One is animal demo and one is animal demo 2. So animal demo has 3 method, total of 3 method. Animal demo 2 has only 1 method, but they are interface. So now inside the dog, you are creating another class, and very like similar to inheritance, you are using the word implement. This is an interview question actually. What is the difference between regular interface implementation and regular class inheritance, right? So in regular class inheritance, you are using extend, the word extends, and you will be extending only one single parent. But interface, you can use more than one parents. As I said, like you can implement at the same time your parent and also your uncle, right? So this one, right? Animal demo and animal demo 2, both are implemented here. No error, right? But if you
I have a quick question here.
yes,
So in abstract, we can use in regular class, but when we use interface, we need to use a separate class. Which one is interface, right?
yes,
We don't use regular class in interface. We need
no,
to create.
interface will have always the word interface in the
So
here. You see that?
so before that, we need to create interface class to
Yes,
run this method.
yes. So you will just convert it. For example, you can just create your class as interface. Instead of class, it will be just interface.
Yeah.
But remaining process is kind of regular inheritance. But instead of extends, for example, if I just write extend, you see that extends for regular inheritance. Now this is an error because regular inheritance doesn't handle multiple inheritance, right? Multiple parent source. But interface, right? Interface actually handle multiple inheritance using the word implements. So this is basically interview question. Sometimes for basic Java, they will be asking what is the difference between multiple inheritance and regular inheritance, and what is the difference between interface and regular inheritance, regular class. So those like concept, those are like basic concept you should have. Maybe you will not use those in Selenium all the time, but for interview actually you need those. So now this interface, right? You see, so dog class, this is another class. This is a regular class, and this regular class actually calling this to interface. And now it is creating some methods, right? Here they don't have all the details. You don't see all the details here. But here you see the details. So animal sound. So what example you can see here actually? Rejanul, can you see that there is some another example, very, very important interview question?
Here?
What example is that? So this animal sound and this
Is
animal
inherited
sound.
from, yeah.
This is an example of polymorphism. Remember, polymorphism has method overriding. It is
Yes.
actually overriding the method. It has abstract method animal sound. Now, here, they're using same thing animal sound, Same method, but changing little bit inside. Now it is giving a print method, print command inside. So original one, like for example, your parent gave you 1-floor house. Now, after 20 years, 30 years, you are building a 3-floor house. House is same, right? You just modifying the floor system or modifying some layer in your house. So basically this method was there with no body. Now in your regular class, you are just adding the body actually. You just added the body actually. It is one of the example of method overriding. There was no body, but here you just added a body. Same thing here also, right? You just added a body. So those are like kind of example of method overriding when you just modify your method and use the same name, right? Method overriding. And can somebody tell what is method overloading? So method overloading will be one of the example, for example, constructor. So you will have same method name, but if you have same method name multiple time, but they will have different signature. So the difference will be inside this parenthesis, you will provide different type of variables. This parenthesis inside whatever it goes, it calls the method signature. This is called method signature. So if you have string, the next one will be string int, and next one can have a string int, but there will be another int or another string or another double, something like that. So something signature will be changed, but not the method name. But other than method overloading, you have to have a different method name. If you have same method name here, it will give you error. If I just copy and paste another same method name, it will be giving you just error. You see that? It is saying this error means you cannot have duplicate method name. Okay, anyway. So this is just ongoing. So now you are using interface in your test. You see that? Exactly same thing. To use this as implements, you created interface, not the regular class. And now, since those are interface, you can use them and call them and like multiple inheritance. And instead of extends, you are using implements. And now you are doing some method overriding also, giving some information inside each of these interface method, because interface did not have any kind of body. Now inside the test, you are giving specific information that what is dog doing or how you are creating objects and using those objects. So you see that this one will be useful in your actually future Selenium practice. In your Selenium, you will be using a lot of method like this in a like, you know, like page object model. You will see you want to actually reuse those page again and again in multiple tests. So what you will be doing, you will create page that actually save all of this method that will be reused in the future, so that you don't have to write those again and again. You will have a test page, right, where you will be testing. Another page you will have like something like called utilities, where utilities will have all of this reusable stuff that you will be calling. Now, in the test, what you are doing, basically you are just creating an object like this, and if you are not using inheritance concept, you are just using object creation concept. So if you actually create this dog, so your class is a dog. So if you create a dog object, that means you are creating a dog object, right? So this object can use anything inside this page, right? If you have like 50 method here, creating this dog object means this D1 or dog1 or whatever name, this object will have access to all of this. Same thing here, you see that you created dog1. This dog1 can use animal method, sound method, sleep method, activity, food preference, anything. So if you run this, for example, let's see, you will
I have a
see
question here, Sanjay. So basically we create object to run the method, right?
we create object to run, not run the method, actually use those method, because you are basically creating a template for your this dog method, dog page, right? So or class. So you're creating a reference variable so that you can use anything inside this dog class. It is very close to inheritance, but the way you are using is differently you are using. When you create an object, you don't have to use the word extend. That means you don't have to use the inherit word, right? The inheritance, any kind of thing. But when you create an object, automatically by default, anything part of this parent object, for example, you are creating object, this is your, for example, child object, and this is the original parent. For example, your dog class is the original parent. This is, you are just creating a template as part of creation or object new, like you see that new dogs. So you can use multiple template. So if you have one of the document, right, if you need, you can copy those document 1,000 times, right? For example, if I have a test, I created a master test document. So if I have 2,000 students in the class, so I can just copy them. So you are just kind of printing or copy. You see that the copy is just copying them actually in a new paper. Anything you have your master class, master document, you are just printing everything in this printing. It's like a using a printing machine. The word new will be like concept of like printing machine. Anything you have original, you just printing them exactly same way.
Okay, so we don't need to write system.out.println.
Oh, system.println you don't have to write because your dog class already have this.
Already has one. Okay.
They already have this. If they didn't have this, you have to write. So this is another thing, that if your utilities already have this, your test code will be neat and clean. You see that your code is like neat and clean because you're already using and calling those methods. You don't have to write system.println and this. You're just calling them like sleep, and sleep already have this, whatever is information is there, you're supposed to print. You see that? You already using those methods inside your utilities, for example.
So when I call the method through docs object, everything will come inside
anything inside this dog should be available. For example, if I just if I create another dog, I'm creating dog number 3, for example. So all you have to do, dog, then dog. You cannot give same name, right? If you give dog 2, it will give you error. Means it cannot be same name. So it has to be some different name. Dog 3. And as I said, the printing machine, right? All the information you have in the original template will be converted with the word new dogs. see that? New dogs. So now, if you use just dog3, you can do anything, just D3. It doesn't matter anything. So if you now just write D3 and give a dot, you will see anything inside this dog will be available also. You see that? I just give a dot and anything, all the methods you already used inside the main dog template have, right? Activity, sleep, animal, sound. You see that? This thing? It will not come if you give like D4. D4 is unknown. You did not create anything, right? So D4, there are no object like D4. And now you are giving a dot. You'll see nothing actually. So D3 means you just created a template or copy of original dog parent class. So that automatically this D3 has all of these inherited properties from here actually. If you have more method, more class or anything is there information, it will be automatically coming here. Here will be available to use. You got it?
Yes, bhai. Thank you.
Just okay, just giving root preference. And if I just run this, it will be just running. Okay, so these two P's actually so far was missing from basic Java. So everybody already knows maybe exception handling, right? Okay. I hope you already know exception handling.
I don't remember.
Yeah, exception handling will be another piece that will be used a lot also. So okay, so those are basic Java. So now I will kind of show you simple page object concept that where you can reuse those stuff in Selenium, for example. So if I just create a new project, so new project. So I will create a Maven project. So did you use driver, what is that? Manager, a WebDriver manager in the past? When Jewelby created Cucumber framework or TestNG framework?
We will always WebDriver browser.
So you always
Not
use the
manager.
path, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I will show you different option that will be WebDriver manager actually. So my version of JDK is 11, it is okay. So I can just give maybe, just give some name maybe. Okay, just give some name. Okay, new window. So I think I have all of these dependencies here. Okay. I'll just copy and paste all these dependencies. So I'm just, I'll just copy all the dependencies. For some reason, my laptop is very slow today. I'm not sure if I copied. Maybe I did not copy. Yeah. Okay, now I copied. So I'm just selecting enable auto import. So it will be synced automatically. So maybe I think one thing is missing here. I think test ng dependency is missing. So I can use the test ng dependency. Maven repository. This one. So I'll be using any of this stable one, test ng. Now go back to my pom.xml. So this is test ng that was missing. So I am talking about this one, WebDriver Manager. So if you have WebDriver Manager, you can basically don't need to provide your Chrome driver path or Firefox path or anything like this all the time. All you have to use the Chrome driver manager and .set. I will show you this. So what I am doing now, I will create a project. Actually, I just created a project and I will actually write a script the way that I will create one page for our testing and another class or page for keeping all the reusable stuff. So what does that mean? So if I go to source, my pom.xml is, I think, up to date, synced. Okay, my pom.xml is up to date. Selenium and everything is there. So now I will create two classes. One is our test class and one is our utilities class. So inside the Java, okay, so I will create two classes. One is test class, and I will create another one is utilities class. So utilities class you will have all of these methods, all of these variables like that. You will be calling them all the time, or during testing, you don't want to write and your code will be neat and clean. As I said, you can keep everything reusable stuff in your utilities and a separate class. And by creating object of this class or by inheriting this class, you can use them anytime in your test class. So Java class, and I'm writing utilities class. So I'll be working on test class first. So what I am writing here. So inside your test class, to test anything, what is the first thing you write? Public, to run any regular public static void, right?
Yes.
So public static void main, right? And then inside the main, there is a string. String is uppercase. And then another square bracket. And outside of square bracket is argument, args. And then your body, any method, right? Remember, the method always have a body also, and body is always inside the curly bracket. So all of your testing will be inside the curly bracket. But another thing you can do, since you are using WebDriver, so WebDriver is kind of an interface actually. And you can actually use, you will be using WebDriver all the time, right? WebDriver has all the details, like Selenium code, and a lot of commands are already built in, right? You don't have to write those, you will be just calling them. So since you are using WebDriver, so I can just keep WebDriver outside and use them as a static. So what is the, if I use the static word, what is that makes sense? Like what will be difference between non-static? So basically I will be using them and calling them anytime without creating new WebDriver. But if you want to do method overriding, then you have to create a new WebDriver with Chrome or with Firefox or with Safari. So static WebDriver. This is the one, right? You see that this WebDriver will be acting like an interface. This is I means interface. So that means this WebDriver has a lot of classes already, and you can use them as part of your interface also. So that multiple inheritance will be used for WebDriver also if you need in the future. So static WebDriver, you'll be giving a name of this WebDriver, anything, right? Like a driver. We always say driver, but you can give anything. So now this driver will be your reference variable of WebDriver. So this WebDriver has all the method related to Chrome, related to Safari, related to Firefox, right? Opera, Edge, I think 5 major browsers. And now what you will be doing here, in regular Selenium in the past, you used something like you set some properties, right? Driver.set properties, something like that, right? And then you gave the path and other thing. But since you have a new dependency, WebDriver manager. So for example, I don't know if I have my Chrome driver downloaded or not. Or maybe I downloaded maybe 3 years back and now version has been changed. Right now is Chrome is like 100, right? Current Chrome, if I go to Chrome and then if I click on Chrome, where is that? About Google Chrome. You see that about Google Chrome? This is 100 now version. I probably have my Chrome driver from 90, 91 or 92. So what you have to do now to avoid this type of situation, just add a dependencies inside your pom.xml, and this dependencies name is WebDriver manager. So you can actually go to test and you did WebDriver manager. You see that this is the one, WebDriver manager. So most of them are stable, anything you can take. maybe 5.1, 5.301, or anything is, those are like stable. Those are not beta version or anything. So basically what I did, I just copied this and added here. So since this is 4.0, this is like kind of old, right? So what I can do, I can just add 5.1, or I just copy it. So it should be synced automatically here. You'll see. See that is syncing right now. Let's see. Sometimes usually it takes shorter time is. So when it is synced, it will be white color instead of red. Okay, it looks like it is synced. Why this is still white?
Shandubai, you didn't cut the before one properly. That's why I think.
It's not completed yet. It's indexing.
Oh no, it is not completed. Yes, it will be white soon, I think. Yeah, it will be white. It says it is synced. Found. Oh, it's synced. Finally, it is synced. Sometimes it takes, I don't know, it's 4.0 takes second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. It takes like half minute, 30 seconds. Okay, but it is synced. So now WebDriver Manager is up to date. Whatever I had like 4 point something, that was also good. I can use this. So now, since I have this, what I can do in my test class, instead of providing all of these paths, I can do just WebDriver. You will be just calling this WebDriver Manager now. You see that WebDriver Manager? This one. WebDriver Manager dot. So this WebDriver actually has all of these different browsers. Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Edge, Internet Explorer, all of these, right? But you need Chrome driver. Select Chrome driver because you are testing Chrome driver for now. You can use Edge also. You can, if you use Internet Explorer, you'll be using Explorer. And then another dot. And then just set up. So this will be actually working as exactly that you have all the paths you provided earlier. Remember system dot set properties, then one quotation you have Chrome driver, another quotation you have all the absolute path from here or wherever you keep the Chrome driver. So, but now if you give this line, you don't need to provide all of these paths. And even you don't need to download this Chrome driver also actually. I don't have any updated Chrome driver in my system, but I'm hoping according to this code, I can log in or I can access Google or something, right? But one thing you have to do, you have to say, you have to declare what driver you are using, right? So driver equal to, you have to always say new Chrome driver, because even though you just say it here, but you have to create a reference variable also for Chrome driver. So you don't have a reference variable for Chrome driver yet. So now I will say driver because I already declared driver here. So driver equal to new Chrome, right? See, you see that this one. Usually it will give you option. Giving option means your setup is right, basically. All the libraries are working, right? If you have libraries working, that means you will get all of the suggestions. Your JDK is working, your Selenium WebDriver library. You see that all of this library you added here, right? They're synced. If they're not synced, you will not see those suggestions. Anyway, okay. So now you just declared your variable, and all you have to do just driver.get and give some first see if my WebDriver manager is working or not, because I don't have my up-to-date 100 version Chrome driver. What should I write to access some URL? Can somebody tell me? This is sometimes
Driver.get URLs.
the first 3 lines is interview.
What can you driver.get to help?
Yes, driver.get. You always see driver.get. See that? This one. And inside this, you will just give a double quotation and whatever website you want to check. For example, simple Google. I will just. Okay. This is Google, and just I'm copying this URL, right? Okay. So basically, I am kind of ready for my automation test run. So going to URL is one of the test step. For example, you are going to your URL, and your URL is working correctly. So this is the first test. This is actually part of your smoke testing. So do you know, anybody actually know what is smoke testing, what is sanity testing, what is functional testing, what is regression testing? This is basically is coming like for SDLC fundamental also. So basically, whenever you start testing, you always start with smoke testing in QA. Smoke testing means those are like showstopper. Means if those testing fails, that means you cannot move on. So now you have a URL, test URL, something qa.chase.com or something, whatever you are testing. And if you type this and you see error, that means you cannot test anything. This is a showstopper, critical defect. Anytime you see URL issue, it is not working. This is a critical issue. It has to be fixed immediately. High priority defect. So even though this is just one line, this is a big line actually. That means you can move on to your test URL or testing site to test. So now if I just right click and give a run test. So okay, it looks like it is successfully opened, and my WebDriver manager is working actually. So WebDriver manager will be allowed anywhere you work. So it is not just like a shortcut. A lot of people use this. Sometimes if you forget to update your path, or your laptop doesn't have the up-to-date browser, Chrome driver, then you definitely need. Okay, so this is open. You see that this is open. So now you can just continue. Okay, driver, right? So driver dot whatever you want to give, right? So now my second thing is, okay, I went inside the URL, but now I want to see the title of the page, right? You see that get title, simple. Now, so if you want to see this title here, what you have to add here actually? Can somebody tell me anything? So now I want to just say driver, after checking the title, just close the browser, driver.close. Right? This is the simple test here. So if I run this, I will not see the title here. So what I have to write to see the title? Okay. So it is opening and it will close also. It is closed. So test case actually passed. Now you don't see test case pass nicely because you did not add any kind of framework or anything, right? If you use like test-ng framework or Cucumber framework, you will see test case 1, passed 1, failed 0, like this type of statement. So, but I did not see any title here. So what I have to add to see the title? Rejanul, you can say what is the answer?
We need to go to the any URL, like home
No,
page or.
you have to add system.println here.
Oh, yes.
Remember, we actually had system.println in the past. Here, all of these had system.println, something like that. If you want to see anything on the console, you always have to have system.println somewhere. So now I want to see the title, right? All you have to do, just, you see that you are checking the title, but you are saying just show me on the console the title. So now if you run this, it will pass, and also it will show you the title of this page. Your expected page is, for example, Google, right? Something. You see that Google is your title. So now this is a simple Selenium WebDriver test. If you want to modify a little bit, you want to add some kind of framework, what you have to do, just change a little bit inside. And remember, I already added test-ng framework, this one. So test-ng framework will be like before test, after test, something like that. And so if I just create another class, for example, Java class. So I'm saying test class underscore test-ng maybe. Okay, so this is my another class, for example. So in the test-ng class, I actually did, so before, right, this one, you had to add all of this. But now in the test-ng class, I don't have to add public static void main, because before class, after class, this type of annotation, right? In test-ng, there are several annotation: before class, after class, before test, after test, before method, after method, like this type of thing, right? At test, those comes by default with this statement. this statement. So now, if I go to test.ng and if I just type at, you see that at test. So it is coming with JUnit and test.ng. It doesn't matter, right? JUnit by default coming with your IntelliJ also as a plugin. So if I, for example, use this one, test.ng JUnit, what you have to do, you see that this is the red. So from Jewelwise first class, can somebody tell me what will be there?
For test NG,
Yes.
before test,
And then?
test, and then after test.
No. I'm saying what will be the statement?
I forgot.
Anybody can remember?
I don't remember.
Okay, so if I want to write test.ng at test, right? So all I have to do at test, and then you can start giving the information that you had originally. So, okay. Let me make it a little bit simpler.
Any scenario or something?
Yes, I will just one second. Okay. Okay, so I will actually create a, okay. Okay, so at test, right? It is red because so far you just, okay. So at test. So I'm taking from the test.ng annotation. So now you will go to next line, and
We need to create a method like.
I'm just adding a method, for example.
Yes.
For example, I'm adding a method public void check title, something like that, right?
Only void check title is enough.
Okay. Void is the same thing. So public void check page title. So now this one, if this is a method, you need parentheses, right? And then you have a curly bracket. And inside the curly bracket, you can just copy and paste your stuff from here. If I just copy this one, for example, let's see what happens. Test.ng. Okay, so you see that driver is, so all you have to do, just add WebDriver here. See that WebDriver? So before what we did, we just declare WebDriver at the beginning. You can do same thing here also. Declare WebDriver. Here, right? And then you don't need WebDriver here. You see that? Now you can see, right? You can do both. You can declare this first and then add this here. So now you can see this is red. Why this is red actually? Oh. Why this is red?
So before test.
In GLY's class, we did different way. That's why I'm confused.
Okay.
I think that the dependency is older version. That's why.
I don't know. I don't think so. Okay, actually. Okay. Okay, I'm just taking this test and then removing this. Okay, because of that it was giving error actually. I have to check this one. Okay. So,
or we can write this one above the test.
yes.
Driver.
Inside, yes. Because I gave inside this.
Yes.
And now I can move also actually. Yeah, okay. So I gave after the test, right? So it should be declared outside of the test. That's why it was giving error. It is same thing. Whatever GLY showed, GLY maybe started from before test, after test, something like that, right? So now I'm just showing you same test-ng framework, exactly same test-ng framework. This one was simple Selenium code. There is no framework here, right? Now, if you run this, I am expecting it will say somewhere that, okay, total test case 1, pass 1, fail 0, something like that. Is it like a reporting purpose or, right, view purpose? Now, if I run this, okay, so it opens and then you see that it says test case passed, right? You see that is nice way now it says. Here, you did not have any kind of information like this. If you see that you can see nice how many test cases ran, how many test cases passed, how many test cases failed, how many skipped, right? And now if you regular one without this framework you run, you'll just see exit code 0. Other than that, nothing is shown. It's probably passed, but you cannot actually visualize anything. Only thing you will see exit code 0. That's it. So this part, you understood?
Yes.
What I can do here actually. So I'm testing the title now. I'm saying, okay, check the title and after the test, close the browser. So same thing I can do here at after test. You see that? You will see after test. You see that after test? I will give basically another method name. So void close browser, right? So Rajan will also, right? You see that how I'm just using some method and testing this and again, like. So close browser. So all you have to do just driver.close. You don't need here. So you are setting something and you're giving instead of
Maybe we use here tear down.
what happened?
We use tear down here, like
Tear down.
yeah, after class, after test, like void tear down, something.
Tear down. Let me check it fails or not. Okay, it passed. Yeah, so basically I was just wanted to show you how it works actually. In real life scenario, like what you're gonna do. For example, you will say, okay, clean the cache, right? And what I can do now, I can modify more. So before my actual test, I can just keep this thing inside the before test, right? So if I just remove this, and so the sequence is it will go to before test first, then go to test, and then go to after test. It doesn't matter how you writing it actually. So if I write at the end after test, it will still work before test first. For example, now if I say at before test, for example, right? Now, if I say same thing like void, right? Open the browser, for example, this is my method name. And curly bracket. Inside the curly bracket, you will give the opening the browser. You see that this is opening the browser basically. Everybody understood this part actually, what I'm doing here?
Yes.
So my expectation is it will start. I wrote test first doesn't mean it will work. It will go to test first. It will go to before test first. By default, before test coming first, then test, and then after test. This is the sequence. So test ng will always follow the sequence. Let me check if I run this. So my expectation way is open the browser first, then test the title, and then after test, close the browser. You see, it passed. I wrote before test at the end, but it doesn't mean it did not open the browser first. It always check this thing, before running anything. So now you can actually do more testing. You can actually test. You can add one more test, for example. You can add at test. And
Shandhu bhai, can you please give us an example of assertion here?
Oh, you want to give example of assertion?
Yes.
Okay, so what we did before for assertion. So basically you did, you are checking this title is matching your expectation or not, right? So you want to use if-else statement?
No, regular assertion equal to or true false.
So now you saw this Google is your expected result, right? The title should be Google. This is the title. So now you want to check if this get title is matching your expectation or not, right? So this is the target.
Yes.
So for this, now for assertion, what do you start with actually?
String actual or expected.
So string actual and string expected, right? So you
Yes.
can just declare first, right? You can declare string or title, right? It will be string. First, you will do title. And title expected, right? So title expected. Title expected equal to Google. And second one is string title actual, right?
Right.
Title actual will be this one, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now basically you will be comparing these two.
This equals, yes.
So how you can do this?
Assert equal.
Assert dot assert equal, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Then
Now,
actual comma expected.
okay. So you will always start with assert a uppercase always, right?
Uppercase A, yes.
Yes. Assert, you will see this one. And then
JUnit
dot.
or, yeah.
Then lowercase assert true, maybe, right? You see that?
Assert equals. Oh, you can use Boolean. Okay, then you can.
You can use Boolean or you can use equal also. It's up to
Okay.
you.
Okay. Oh, it's same.
Yes. So which one you want to use?
You can, no problem.
If you use, for example, true, that means you have to give a page source.
Yes.
So that means you probably don't need these two variable actually.
Yes.
But
If you
when you
use
use
Boolean.
equal, then you need page source. You don't need page source, then you just give equal. So first check with maybe true, then I would check with equal.
Okay. That will be good. Thank you.
Let's see. So what will come first if I use assert?
Expected dot is displayed or.
So actual will come, right? Actually, you actually need this. You actually need this. So I can write title actual. You see that? Title actual. then dot contains, remember your page source will have this,
Yes, contains.
okay, and then inside the content
Expected. I forgot this one.
okay, title expected, right? But title expected is not the right answer actually. So title, so I have to basically change little bit here. I was first thinking, okay, so title actual, right? Instead of title here, I will just add dot page source. You see that?
Or get page source. Yeah.
So I have to change little bit to use the
Okay.
boolean. Now I can just give page source expected, maybe title, right? So this one is my one of the assertion. If I run this, this is red because there is no semicolon, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if I run this, it should, I'm expecting it should pass because your Google should be inside the page source. Test passed. So it worked actually. You see that?
Yes.
So there is another option you can use. Instead of contains, you can use equal, right?
When we use is displayed. Dot is
Displayed means what?
Yeah, I saw it an assertion.
So there is two different situations, right? One situation is, okay, you want to prove that, okay, this Google is on your page. This is for that. And now
Yeah.
you want to, second scenario that you want to check, okay, the spelling of this Google, right, is equal to, what is that? Expected, right? So your actual spelling is expected to your.
Also, we can
expected
assert
to.
in different way.
So you can also use if else statement also, if you want.
Okay.
So
I'm
if
saying
I
because
say,
when we write the code, it's huge, it's big code, and all the time we don't write string, we use method. So when we use method, then
that I'm saying, like this one, you can move to utilities class. Okay, now actually going back to how you can use utilities.
Okay.
You want to go now, or you want to take like 5-10 minutes break first? You decide. Like it's already like hour and 40 minutes. It's up to you. Everybody, like, you want to take any like 5-6 minutes, 10 minutes break and then come back? Hello?
I don't need any break. It's Roja. How about others?
What about other people? Like there are a total of 20 actually.
Yeah, I don't need any break either. It is better to stop, finish
Complete.
10 minutes early.
Okay. That's okay. Okay, so I see everybody is kind of, if you are not saying anything, that means I'm assuming you are agree with no break. Okay. So now I want to add them to my utilities class so that I don't have to write this here, and I will just call them, make this code neat and clean, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what can I do now then? In utilities, what I can add?
Inheritance.
Mm, not inheritance. I will just add all this method actually.
Okay.
I will just add all of this method so that you can, you don't have to write everything in the test file. This is the main purpose, right?
Yes.
Okay, so right now this is empty. Where is that utilities one? This one. Right now this utilities is empty. So what I gonna do in the utilities, this one I'll move to utilities, for example. Okay. X, and then I will move to here. So
Testing this already upset.
now if you, okay, I will add more methods here also. What is the method? Okay, is public static. Okay, I just give, instead of static, I'll give public also. Public static WebDriver. No static, just maybe public WebDriver, so that you will be using to your test classes also. So WebDriver driver, and then one of the method is open the browser, for example. Open the browser. So if you say open the browser, you have to create a method that, so that every time you open the browser, you can just call them. So you want to use the switch statement, for example, in real life, you will see, you probably have to test Chrome, you have to probably check Firefox, you have to probably check Edge, multiple browsers. So I can use a switch statement actually, so that it will be cross-browsing testing, part of cross-browsing testing, and you can use them again and again. Okay. So my method will be initiate the browser, for example. So method name is public WebDriver. See that WebDriver, and then initiate driver. This is my method name. You can write anything, right? But I'm just making this, that will be more, what is that? Useful for your project, so that you can understand, okay, this method is for initiating the browser. Initiate driver or browser, whatever. So this is your method name. Now, since you have multiple browsers you will be using in the future, so what you're gonna do, you will be giving a string name, so that you can get from the your user, okay, user will say, okay, I want to run Chrome, or I want to run Firefox. So your browser name is a string, right? It's not integer. And your browser name, this is kind of a reference variable, for example. So this browser name, you will be collecting from users. For example, if you run the test case, you will be providing this in the test file. So this is just a method you are creating so that.
I have a question here.
Yes.
This you write method. So first we write method without any parameter in the parentheses, but now we use a parameter string browser name. Why?
Yes.
What is the difference between these two?
So because I'm creating one script like switch statement or if else statement, something like that, so that you will have option, multiple option. For example, if you don't give this, you can use only for one browser. But in real life, you will be using maybe for 2-3 different browsers. So that you want to keep the options here.
Okay.
You just want to giving options for multi-browser testing. So this is the option for cross-browser testing option. So when I write more stuff, then you will see. So now, one thing I just want to see, just show that system. Okay. System dot, right? Oh, no. Actually, I selected wrong one. System dot out dot println. So this is your option. So you want to just write browser name is. So you want to show you plus. So do you know what is this plus means? What is that plus is doing here?
It's concatenation.
Yes, this is concatenation. Okay, yes. So now you just want to just print what is the browser name, part of your validation. Okay, so first run I did for Chrome browser, second run I did maybe Firefox, like this. So now you will be using some switch statement because you want to use cross-browser testing. So switch statement will always use the switch, right? See that switch, and then inside the switch you will be giving your browser name. Whatever you are giving here, this browser name is coming here. You see that? So now you will be matching the other stuff inside switch statement. This is right now I'm just doing basic Java switch statement. Okay, inside the switch statement, I'm giving, so switch statement comes with what type of statement? Case, right? Case 1, case 2, case 3, something like that. So first case, see that case will be, I'm giving Chrome, right? And this is colon. Switch statement is use colon, right? And then you will be using just WebDriver manager, remember from their WebDriver manager, because I'm not using any path. Just use this. So this part. So what else comes with the switch statement? This is very, very necessary actually. Can somebody tell for each case statement, between each case statement, something else also is supposed to add?
break.
Break, yes. So break will be another important piece you should always write, because once you get the right one, you should not move on and spend additional time for running. So break. So first option for Chrome is done. So now you will get case number 2, right? So case number 2 may be your Firefox, right? So case number 2 may be Firefox. So add another column, and then again same piece, right? But it cannot be same. For Firefox, it will be maybe Firefox driver, right? Instead
Echo
of
driver or
by
something.
Firefox.
Oh,
You see that red because you imported this Chrome driver. Now you have to import Firefox also. Okay, so this one also will have a break. Maybe you will be checking Edge browser also. So for Edge browser, you have to write exactly same statement. So just write another statement. Edge maybe, right? Instead of Firefox, Edge, and here you just change the Edge driver. You see that Edge driver is always give you suggestion also. So this is just delete it. We have 3 options. So you always have to you always have to check these 3 browser as part of your testing. Now you can give another, right? You can give another option. Okay, for example, you are giving Safari. So what's going to happen? Safari is not in scope. So you want to just write default. So if you write default, just write default. You don't have to give case, right? So default. So now inside the default, you want to write a system.out println and something like that. But you will be writing that, okay, please provide the correct browser information. For example, if you are giving anything other than these 3, you should get a message saying that browser not found. Please provide some valid browser. Okay. For example, you are just writing browser not found. Please provide the correct browser input. So this is your default. So now, if user provides any of these, it will work. Other than these 3, it will not work. Why is red? Let me check. This one. Probably I need one more
Um,
Oh, I need
we
one
need
more. Actually, I
we
need
need to
one more curly bracket.
and we need to fix test ng class also,
Yes, yes.
because you test ng class.
What are you talking actually?
We need to fix in test ng class. Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. No,
Yeah.
that we will fix later. That we will fix later.
Okay.
We are just right now just creating the, for example, library. So that you will be using every time for the future testing. So what can you actually write more? So you have to return something, right? So when you say this type of, you see that this type of input, you need some kind of return. So after that, you always have to write a return the driver. So return driver. So return driver, and now this red is gone. You see that? So this return you have to write, because you have a user input. Based on the input, your code will return the driver, whatever driver you are looking for. So I want to actually add few more method in my utilities package. Remember, this is just what driver you are using, right? So now you want to add another method that will say, okay, launch the URL. So after that, add few more method. So another one may be public void launch URL, right? So you are launching the URL. So every single thing you are doing here, you are making some kind of method first so that you can use it. And not only you are just creating the method, you are not hard coding any method actually. You are giving some kind of parameters so that user can provide the input, right? Maybe you are checking google.com and tomorrow you are checking maybe yahoo.com, and then another day you are checking maybe udemy.com. So there should be some options like parameters so that user can use the same code for multiple URL. So now you will be giving a some name, right? Launch URL. Launch URL. And for, since I want user input, right? I want to give some kind of string URL, for example. So this URL is kind of a parameter that you will get from the users. And curly bracket. So inside the curly bracket, you will write a method. You will write a method now. Method is name is launch URL, and from here, right? Which one is launch URL? Driver.get URL, right? This one. So this is the statement you are actually adding here. Driver. Dot, see that get URL. So now here, what will go inside this? Rejanul, can you tell?
Here.
Yes, it is saying you have to give something here actually for
Yeah.
this method.
HTTP Google.
No, yeah, but it is going, you see that there is a reference variable URL.
Oh yeah, yeah. See,
This parameter is going here now because you are providing your URL here.
okay.
This is a, you see that saying parameter means you will get from user. So this is another method you created. So you can create some other method like page title, page URL, right? Okay.
So how many methods in Java?
Sorry.
How many methods in Java?
Oh no. There is nothing about how many method in Java. I'm saying how many method you want to create for future use. For example, your this test case, right? You need maybe like 1, 2, 3. This one is 1.
Yeah,
Page
that's what I'm
title is
saying.
1. You see at
Like
least 2 more
public
method
void
you
is the
can use it
method.
here, right?
Yes.
2
So
more
everything
method
is
maybe you
method.
can use it.
So there are a lot of methods we can create in Java.
Yeah, so if you need 200 method, you can create 200 method and keep in one page. If you need 5 method, you can create 5 method, depending on the complexity of your testing.
In different ways also.
Yes. So if
Okay.
you have to check multiple point, you will create those methods and just call them in your test. So now there is, I already created just 2 methods, right? I will use maybe 2, 3 more methods like check page title or maybe assertion, right? Assertion part can be in my method also. Or maybe if you don't want assertion, you want to close the page, right? Close the page can be a method. Okay, so public. So now you are using another method called, we want to check the page title. You went to the URL, now you want to see the page title. You also want to see the page URL. For example, you went to a URL. This is not the real URL. This is like some hackers or spam was there and you just click there. This is not the real URL. This is like some hacker actually created some URL and you are there. So you have to check your URL is correct. So public string, right? For example, page title will be string, right? And get, my method name is get page title. So page title actually, you are not giving an input, right? So you will just get it. Nothing you are providing. Here you are providing information, what URL you are checking. Here you are providing the information, what browser you want. But page title, you are not inputting anything. Your code will provide you the page title.
I have a small question also here.
Yes.
Like why we use string get title?
Because your title is a string. This is not a number. This is combination of letter and something. Like for example, Google is a string, right?
Yes.
The information you are getting back is a string.
So we can write here public static get title, get page title.
Public static get title. No.
Yeah.
You can write, but I'm saying that you are creating a method.
Yes.
In your real test, you will be just calling this method.
That's why I create a string method, because in future I can call it.
Now, you are not giving anything, but you are, as part of your testing, what is that? The code will return some value, right?
Yes.
So now you will write return.
Return.
So return means this title method will return something to you.
Yes. Well, which one?
Now driver.
Okay.
Dot get title. You got this part?
Okay. Right. We cannot write return page get page title, right? Because it's not an
Return
object.
page title. No. Page title is the
No.
method.
Okay.
Page title is the method, but this is Selenium code. Selenium WebDriver will return the title actually. This is just a name. Page title is the name that you will be calling. You are just naming this. You see that? Those are just the name.
We always write driver because we create driver variable, right? So every time we return from the driver. That's why we always continue to write the driver.
Yeah, driver is
WebDriver
basically driver is your main what is that, copy? Like, remember you created some copy of the main template from driver and give a
Yes,
reference variable here, driver.
yes, the same
To
thing.
communicate with the URL or communicate with the driver, you you have to use this driver.
So in here, what we call the driver is variable or something?
This is kind of reference variable. It's the name of the object.
Name the object. Okay.
It is
So,
a reference variable from this driver, web driver. You are
WebDriver,
just,
yes.
remember, you see like this, like copy and print scanning machine or the printing machine. So basically this driver has all the properties from this web driver.
Okay. That's why we call all the time driver.
Yeah, because you see that you already created in the first method, you already created a object of Chrome driver. This web driver has every other web driver. This driver has maybe Safari, this driver has Chrome, this driver has Edge, Firefox, Internet Explorer. But now you are specifically, based on your testing criteria, you are creating Chrome driver object, you are creating Firefox. So now you can see there are some problem here, right? It should not be new Chrome driver, it should be new Firefox driver, right?
Yes, because it's Firefox. In Firefox driver, we can also Gecko driver or something.
Yeah, Firefox, you need Gecko driver, yeah.
Okay.
Same thing here, not Chrome driver. This is new Edge. This one is, you have to delete. Okay, so this part is done. So public string get page title and then return driver dot get. I actually okay.
Shantu, we can hear you.
Oh, I probably used the same name before, right? Page title, the class name, that's I. Somewhere I already used this. They're saying this is a duplicate name. Okay. What I do? Get page title is already defined.
Yeah, you use 2 times here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if I just remove this red will be gone. So this code is correct actually.
Yeah.
Just for now, just giving something. So this is gone. So now this one probably current page URL. So probably I will test, as I said, get page URL. So get page URL. This one also will be returned, right? And inside this, you have to give driver dot. You see that get current page URL?
Yes.
There will be a lot of options like this whenever you are testing. So this is so far like we created 4 methods. So now, for example, to make it simple, I want to create another method to close the browser. So To close the browser, you are not getting anything back, or you are not inputting anything also from your side, right? You are just closing it. So no return from nowhere. So if there is no return, you will say just void.
Yes. Public void.
So public void, right? Then just method name, you can give anything, right? Close browser, something. So I am actually just writing C lowercase, B uppercase, just making the standard Java, right? Remember, you
Yes,
supposed to
camel
have
casing.
uppercasing.
Yep.
You can give uppercase also, everything will work, but like standard is variable and method name will be lowercase, but class name will be uppercase starting.
Yes.
Just the standard actually. So for closing browser, same thing, you will be using driver. So you are not using return because this is nothing, it is not returning anything. Dot close. So these are all of your reusable code, for example. Now you can use them. So now you can use them in your test ng class, for example. So if you want to use them in test ng class, how can you use them?
We just call method here.
Okay, and how you will be calling the method?
Use extends.
Okay, so let me check first. Okay, so since this is red, I'm just bringing back.
You can just write here static void web driver, static web driver.
No, this one I'm just keeping as it is.
Yes.
I'm just keeping as it is. Yes.
Okay.
Just keeping as it is. I'm not changing anything right now. So now this is the simple one that you did without using page object concept, right? The source, page source. So now that was even before, just simple code, Selenium WebDriver. Now you are using something that, okay, you are creating a page source for reusing in the future. And how you are reusing in the future? Because you are creating a lot of methods, right? You are creating a lot of method. And now in this method, you will be creating a new test class. So first I'm showing you another test class, and then I will go back to framework also. So now if I create another test, new Java class, I want to write test cross browser, right? Cross browser, for example. Cross browser testing. Actually, I don't have to add this here. I'm just writing at the end cross browser testing. So these are some concepts that you will be using in the future. That one page, you will keep all the reusable stuff. And another page you will be testing using those reusable stuff. So this cross browser testing, right? You are using this utilities class. Now, since I'm not using any framework, what line I should start first?
Main method.
Yes, public static main,
Void
right?
main.
This line, basically. this line. So inside this line, I'll be using these utilities methods. Now, you saying that, okay, you want to use Chrome browser as part of your testing for this sprint. Maybe next sprint, you need Edge and Firefox. So what is the concept to use this utilities class? I did this earlier also. I did this for inheritance. No, I did this for, what is that? Abstraction before. And also method.
Implements?
No, not implement. So to use anything inside this, so you don't want to use implement or inheritance. What other option you have to use this utilities class inside this cross-browser testing class? So this is your test class, and this is your source page that has all the reusable code. You now want to use all of this for your testing. So all you have to do, create an object for this class, utilities class. Remember, if you create an object, I'm showing you again, Java, right?
Oh, so that object dot method, right?
Object dot any method. Any
method,
you
yeah.
give object dot anything you have in the utilities will be displaying.
Okay.
Now, if I create a utilities class object, what you have to write? Browser utility, right? You have to give this class name, utilities class, right? So you see that utilities class, this is available for you to create. You saw that, right?
Yes.
And give anything. You can give test browser, or I don't know, any name you can give. This is just a reference variable that you will be using in the next lines, basically. So I'm giving UC, for example. So utilities class. UC is a variable, okay, equal to new utilities class. So this is the main thing actually you're doing now. So you understand, everybody understood this line, what I'm doing right now here. So by declaring new object, basically you got all the properties from here, all the methods you created. So you got it? Anybody has any confusion here, what I just did in this line?
So if I take all the information from test class Java, then I create a variable, an object from test class, variable name equals to new test class, right?
Yes. So basically you'll be giving, this is you can give anything. You can give your name.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. This is just a name you are giving. And new is actually basically creating a template from the utilities class that you created for reusable. So anything you have here, now you have access to use.
Okay.
So now if you just write UC and then give dot, all the methods that you have, you can just use dot. You see that? You see that now I can just simply use initiate the driver. So now initiate the driver, right? It is still red. Remember I said you have to provide, user need to provide the driver because you already gave this option here. So you have to say what browser you want to test. You have to say either Chrome, Firefox, Safari, right? I'm just writing CHROME. So I gave Chrome, but why this is red actually? So Chrome is a string, right? It has to be inside the double quotation. You see that now you gave a Chrome, initiate the driver. This part you understood? Everybody?
Yes.
So now if you run this, it will go to this utilities class page and will run this. It will initiate Chrome. It will see Chrome is matching with first case. It will initiate. If you give Firefox, it will initiate this. If you give Edge, it will initiate this. Anything else is out of scope. Now, if you don't give anything, like I'm giving, for example, Safari, not Chrome, I'm giving Safari. So my expectation is it will come here and give me a warning or message that, okay, browser not found, please provide the correct browser. Just make sure okay. Just check this. What happens? Let's see. Run it. I'm expecting it will run and it will give you exit code 0. You see that process finished with exit code 0. Ran successfully, but this is the message you are getting. You see that now? You see that, right? The Safari is out of scope. Please provide
The correct
browser. Now, if you give this Chrome, it will run Chrome actually, because Chrome is, you already wrote code to run the Chrome, right? So I wrote Chrome. So this is done. So this is one simple, just 2 word is covering all of this actually, all of this line. So it will return the driver. Basically, browser will open. So if I run this, you see that browser just opened. It opened and it did not close because I still did not give any close statement yet, right? So I don't see any URL also because I didn't go to URL steps yet. I just opened the browser and it is working actually, right? So you can clearly see that browser opened successfully. So browser opened successfully, but it did not close because I did not give any closing statement yet. So I want to use other methods also. All you have to do just every time write UC, your reference variable, or right, and give dot. So now you are giving page URL, right? Get page URL. What is the method you are using now?
Yeah, get page URL.
Get page URL, okay. So this method also need some kind of input from user, right? If you see, it's not page URL actually. I need to launch URL. That I got the wrong. I got the wrong one, right? Page URL is just the information. What is the name of the page URL? This one. So, but before that, I have to launch the browser. Means I have to give either google.com or something.
Yes.
You see, dot, I should have launched the, you see that this one I should check, right?
Launch. Okay.
Launch URL. Because launch URL will be asking you, please provide me the URL information. So URL is a string, so your URL will be going inside the double quotation. So now what is your URL? So google.com, for example, right? It can be anything during your testing. Okay. So now if I run this, you will see last just opened browser, but there was no google.com or anything. Now it will actually run google.com, show you google.com. You see that now it is google.com. Before there was no URL. So what is the next step? So next step is you want to check other methods also, right?
Yes. Get title.
Okay. You see dot page title, page URL, page title, this one. So you actually want page title, but you don't have, it will work actually, right? But remember
Yes,
at the
but
beginning I said, if you want to see here, you have to add
system.out.println.
out. You see, remember this one?
Yes.
So I'm just, before that, you have to just use system.out.println.
So we cannot write it in the utility space, right? System.out.println.
You can write it.
Yeah, that only gone. Good.
You can write it there also.
Okay.
So if you go to utilities page, I can write exactly same thing, right? Oh, there is another thing. 1 second. Oh, okay.
It is
Yes.
written.
So here I can just give this one. Just copy and paste. 1 second. Copy. So get title. I'm just adding. So UC is not here, right?
No. It should be driver.get page title.
Yes. So driver dot. Okay. I'm just giving inside. Instead of UC, it will be driver, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Semicolon.
Not page title, driver dot get title, right?
Yes, driver.get title. This right.
Error. 1 second. Unreachable. Oh. It's probably there.
Maybe everything is inside the return.
checking return. For some reason it's not working.
It may be get page title instead of get title. Driver dot.
No. It's it is little bit different ones. So it will be returning the driver dot. Okay, let me. So it will be returning this one. Now,
If I want to send
okay.
a console.
Oh, actually, for printing this one, I just have to create a new print method. It's probably just I'm just adding both together. That's why it is okay.
Maybe.
I'm just public void dot print ln, and now title. I think I'm just using both together. That's why it is giving error. So I can just use print title here. It should be working actually. So here, right? If you don't want this, think just uc dot print title. This way it should be working. Let me check. Okay, it is working like this. So even, okay, so then you actually can skip this line also. Both will work actually. You don't need actually this line because you are getting the page title here directly, right? Depending on what method you are using. Okay. So now you want to use some other methods, for example. UC dot, what else you have here? Get page URL. Same thing will be like get page URL also, right? So now I want to use page URL differently. Okay, so I am expecting This one will show you page URL. So you can actually use system.println here, or you can just move this to a separate print option inside the utilities. So what else you have? You want to actually, okay. So before you closing, right? Before you closing, you want to actually do some kind of validation. Okay, this Google is working correctly or not. So what you have to do now? So you can say what you have to do. Regional, if I want to check if title Google is correct, I can use if else statement also here. Simply if else statement.
So we cannot here use Boolean statement like true, assert true.
Yeah, you can use Boolean also. If you want to use assert, for example, but for assert, you have to first declare two, right?
String value.
Yes.
Is it
so
necessary to declare the string, or we can use
I can just give one variable, for example, string title.
Is it possible to assert without writing string?
You can actually do assertion inside the utilities also. So I'm just creating one more method for
Assertion.
For example. So public void assert title, for example.
By the way, I have a small question here. Like, do you need to write all the time string to assert, or is there any method to write the assert without string?
Oh, where you are writing string actually. If some title is a string, you have to write a string, right? Because this is not a number.
Without writing a string, we cannot use the title in assert.
No, you are declaring some kind of variable, right?
We need variable, right?
You have to create some kind of variable. So you have to use the data type. So, okay, so if Google, what data type you will be declaring other than string actually?
I saw it is displayed something. I forget this one. It is maybe in Rahul Shetty video or something.
Oh, okay. I probably can check it in the future. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. So if I do assertion, right? So first I have to declare some kind of title, right? If title, okay, string so string title equal to here, right? Driver dot get title. This one you understood, right?
Yes.
Now, then you can
This
just
is expected, right?
Now you don't need expected.
Okay.
Because I'm using that contains page URL, for example.
Okay.
If you use contain page URL, I don't think so. You need any other thing. Okay, let me check. Okay, so if I do, for example, this one, what you did here, you did assert, not here, right?
Yes.
So you did exactly same thing. Assert true. Actual expected. Oh, actually, I need to just maybe
Sorry for
just copy this one. Actually, copy this too. Okay. So now, same way like this one, just you can just copy paste. So all of these lines, instead of test class, you are keeping inside the so all of this you are just keeping inside the utilities instead of the test. So this part you got, right? This part. So I just created a
Yes,
method.
Yes.
So what I have to do now? Just I have to call this one.
Call this one, yes.
You see dot assert title. You see that? You see dot close browser. So my kind of test case here is completed. So this is your test case. If I run this, so everything worked perfectly. So you see that like your test is so simple when you have all the utilities method. You are just calling them. Assert you can do many way actually. You can do with equal to, you can do like, as you said, Rahul Shetty said something is visible or something. So, but my purpose was how you can minimize your main test cases or real script using the utilities package. You saw the low code is very neat and clean and very like small. You
Yeah,
saw
this
that,
is
right?
so simple. Yes.
This looks
Very
like very simple, very clean,
Yes.
but all of your information actually coming from some parent template utilities, right? But utilities you can add anytime anything. So what happens if I give Chrome now instead of C lowercase Chrome uppercase? What gonna happen actually? You can guess what happened.
Maybe it's error.
It will be giving error actually. But how can you handle this type of error? Like uppercase, lowercase. You see that this already gave the error.
Here it shows is that the error is line number 8.
You see that browser name is Chrome.
It's Chrome, yeah.
That means they did not find any of this in my utilities package, actually. So one thing you can do, you can just, whatever, make a code little bit saying Java that, okay, if it is lowercase, just make everything uppercase and just work with this uppercase one. And how can you change it?
Is there any dependency?
So you have to change your utilities little bit actually, right? So now your utility said string browser name, right? You see that? There's a switch statement. You see that browser name?
Yes.
So in Java, this is like Java. This is nothing related to Selenium. In Java, there is an option. You can say to, and you can just go down, or you can just say to. You see that lowercase, uppercase, anything user gives, make it lowercase. If user gives uppercase, make it lowercase. So now, for example, if I give C uppercase, it will automatically convert it to lowercase here in this point, and then it will move on. If I run this, it will work, even though this is C uppercase. This is not just going for safe side, actually. Sometimes you have to move a little bit. You see that now it is working, because you change a little bit and says, okay, it doesn't matter, just make it lowercase. So now what happens if I don't give anything here? I give nothing. If your URL is nothing there, so what's gonna happen actually? Can somebody tell what I should see? In launch URL, by mistake, I did not provide anything. Will it work? So it is stuck here, right? And also your test fails. So there are some other validation you can add here. Maybe, what is that? So, okay. So before get URL, you can actually add 2 line. So for example, if so there is a option URL, right? So my URL equal to null. So I just want to say something, and just return. Just go back to the browser. So another option is you are not giving anything, just empty. So same thing, you'll just write if URL dot is empty actually. Then return also. So now if I run this, those validation, anything work? Let me check. Okay. It doesn't matter. So you have to basically provide the URL. Okay. Yeah, so I was just checking if what happens if I give empty stuff. Okay, so it basically you have to provide URL based on this string URL. But it doesn't matter. This is, you can delete it or you can keep it. It doesn't matter. So now same thing, you want to move back to your test-ng framework. That will also work, right? So now if I create another class and make it everything in test-ng, cross yeah, test-ng, okay. So for test-ng, what you are doing here. So if you go to this test-ng class, all you have to do, just distribute this to before, after, like this, right? This complex one, you will be just making as test-ng. So in the test-ng, what you have to do now? Cross-browser test-ng. You have to start with before, after. How you want to proceed with test-ng now?
The main method first.
Test-ng doesn't need actually main method.
Oh, sorry, yes. Test-ng
Yes,
doesn't need main method. Yes.
After test, these always come with. Okay, so I can probably start with at test, right? Just basically same thing. Same thing, but instead of, what is that? If you just do test-ng, okay. Copy. Okay, so in the cross-browser testing, what you did here? Just created a utilities class, right? So same thing, I will do this. Copy. And cross-browser. So here, right? So at test, you can move on this thing. So initiate driver, we are not doing anything. We are doing before test initiate driver. Launch URL, probably we can move this to test. Okay. Now, before test, I want to just copy this one. This is just the before test. Okay. And now after test will be just this one is UC. Okay. And here you are actually with title, all of this you can actually keep inside a test. So now this should be your simple. So this is your test ng framework now. So everybody understood what I just did? So this is page
Yes,
object
for
model.
myself, yes.
I just replaced our simple codes, Selenium code. There is no framework. I just moved them inside a framework, that cross-browsing framework that will be using your utilities file, that utilities class. So now my expectation is if I run this, it will give you some nice report, something like that, how many passed or failed. Test failed. So what is the reason test case failed? You see that test name is Chrome. So what is the reason? Here was also Chrome, but why it did not work? Okay. So it seems like assertion error, right? Okay. So why it failed actually? Utilities, so you used utilities. Now this one. Okay, it seems like we don't have assert package here, right? We have to import assert. Let me check. Just is it working or not? Let me check if it was working. It just worked. It was just
Maybe there is no URL here. It's on the
it was
now.
just working. Yeah, okay. URL is missing. Yeah, URL is missing actually. Yeah. Oh, for URL you are getting the error, right? I forgot to add URL. Okay. Thank you for reminding me adding URL. Okay. It should be working now. Yeah, URL issue, I think, probably. I did not give an URL. Oh, yeah, that was URL issue actually. Passed. Okay, so this is like simple framework. You can actually convert this to what is that? Cucumber also. Exactly same thing. So in Cucumber, you will be basically using this utilities file for your step definition. Remember, you have step definition, you have feature file, you have step definition, you have runner class, but inside the step definition, you usually write all of this, right? But instead of writing all of this, you will be just using this utilities folder. So far, the concept you understood, what I'm just doing actually. This is the concept of reusability actually, how you can reuse your code. So you understood, right?
Yes, don't worry. So the question is here, without inheritance, we can write this way, right?
Yeah, you can also do the inheritance here. If I check inheritance, for example, what I can do. So for example, if I move back to the code here, right? Now I am doing, so for inheritance, what you did originally. If I convert to inheritance instead of, if you go to Java concept and see the inheritance, what you did in inheritance. So in inheritance, basically you created some user again, right? So instead of this, if I just go to inheritance now. So we are actually not doing any inheritance here because we have only one object, right?
One
If
object,
you
yes,
have,
that's
yeah,
right.
if you have two objects, then another object can inherit another one. So we are not actually doing inheritance. We don't need inheritance here actually. Yeah, we are just creating a reference object and using this object like driver, web driver, something like that.
That's it, I can understand this.
Okay. I think I can step here. I can just stop here. And I wanted to actually review the interview questions a little bit that I can do actually next class. this Sunday. So last class, you covered what is that? Mobile testing, right?
Yes, half of the class, half of the mobile testing.
Okay. So you started practicing anything, or that was just the theory?
No, it's just a theory.
Okay. Probably next class there will be practice on Wednesday. Okay. So I think we can stop today. It's all small.
By the way, yeah, before stop, yeah, you can stop, no problem. I have a small question.
Yes.
So should I send the CD to Joel Bhai?
Yes. Whatever resume you have,
Mhm.
share with Joel Bhai, and Joel Bhai will be modifying that actually.
But I will try to complete the whole